Hello, this is Eric from the Stratford Public Library MakerSpace. This video is for people who have been into the MakerSpace once or twice before and have a general understanding of how 3D printing works. I will guide you through the steps of submitting a 3D file for printing using our online 3D file printing submission form. Let's get started.
The first thing you need to submit a 3D print is a 3D file. It can either be an STL or an OBJ file. These types of files can be found on a website such as Thingiverse, or you can create your own in a 3D drafting program like Tinkercad or Fusion 360. Thingiverse is an open source repository where everyone can share and remix their 3D files. Once you're on Thingiverse, do a search for what you want to print. Often there are several options. If you see something that you're looking for, click on that thing. The first step that you should always do is read the thing details. Not all 3D files are printable, and some are works in progress. Usually a thing with pictures of the final print will be a better choice than a thing like this one with only blue renderings because the creator has probably not done a test print. If it looks to be a solid print, click Thing Files. This will show you a preview of each 3D file the creator has uploaded. The object may be one single piece, it may be scaled down into different sizes, or split into several pieces to make it more printable. Here is a single piece model which will print very well. This next model tugboat is much larger and meant to be a working model boat. It is split into 28 separate pieces, which would mean you would need to submit 28 individual prints, which would be costly and be too large for our print queue to handle. I would like to print out this small tugboat, so I'll click on the download button and look for it in my downloads folder. If you're creating an object in Tinkercad that you would like to print, like this simple one-piece file, click Export and now click STL. Tinkercad creates some pretty wacky file names, but you will most likely find the file in your downloads folder. If it is a bit more complicated and has overlaps, it is a good idea to split your model into multiple pieces and glue them together later. Now that you have found your 3D file, you are ready to send it to the slicer and get an estimate of how long it will take to print. Objects like this bunny, stump, tugboat, and flexies will print very well as is. However, if your object has legs, or a stretched out arm, or anything that hangs more than 45 degrees from its core, it will need supports like this dog. Supports can be fairly easily removed, but will leave some scarring on the surface. Don't worry too much about supports. We will take care of creating them when we receive your file in the MakerSpace. Before you submit a file for 3D printing at the library, you will need to get an estimate of how much your 3D print will cost. You will be uploading your file to an online slicer called Kirimoto. If this is your first time using the program, it is a good idea to familiarize yourself with the controls. First are the controls on the mouse. The center scroll wheel will zoom in and out. Left click and hold. Now you can move the mouse to orbit your view. Right click and hold. Now you can move the mouse to pan your view. When your object is yellow, it is stationary. When you click on the object, it will turn green, which means it's active. This will allow you to duplicate, scale, and rotate the object. By clicking View and Arrange, you will center your object or objects on the bed and prevent multiple objects from overlapping. Now that you are familiar with the controls, we can start to upload your files. If there is a sample object on the build plate, click the object to make it active, and then press the X in the top left corner to delete it. Once that object has been deleted, you have an empty bed to load your new object onto. To upload your files, either click Files along the left-hand side, followed by Import, then select your file, which is probably in the Downloads folder, or you can find your file on your computer and drag and drop it directly into the workspace. Sometimes your model will be placed on the bed at the wrong angle. To rotate it, just click the object to make it active, and now click the Rotate tab on the left side of the screen. You can use the left and right arrows on each axis until your object is in the position you would like to print it in. If you have trouble with this step, just contact the MakerSpace and we'll be glad to help. If you want to change the size of the object, make sure it is active. Click on Scale, and the dimensions will appear for X, Y, and Z. It is best to pick one dimension to change and let the other ones automatically adjust. I'm going to make this tugboat 70 millimeters tall, so I'll adjust the height on the Z axis to 70 millimeters, and the rest of the dimensions will adjust proportionally. Usually Z is the best to pick, as it will set the size of the entire object by the height of the model. The last step to get all the info you need is to slice your object to get an accurate estimate of how much your file will cost. Click the Slice button on the left side of the screen. This will give you a preview of how the 3D printer will print your object. You can move the slider button on the bottom of the screen to see each layer and what the infill on the inside of your print looks like. Now click Export to get your estimate. A dialog box will appear with time and filament estimates. Record the print time and the amount of weight in grams that's being used. The library 3D print fees are based on cost recovery of the filament, which is 10 cents per gram. So, a 100-gram print will cost $1. There is no need to download the sliced file. Just go to the 3D print submission form, enter your print information, upload your OBJ or STL, and we will contact you when the print is ready to pick up. To submit a 3D print, just go to the Stratford Public Library website, click on Services, you'll find MakerSpace, and submit a 3D print job online. Here you will find the form where you'll enter your name, library card number, your email address, telephone number, so we can contact you. Print weight and print time are the two numbers that you get when you upload your file to Kurimoto, the online slicer. Color choice is the color of plastic, and it can only be one color. The second choice is just in case we run out. If you would like your print to be a specific height when it's done, just let us know. If this is a small figure, such as a D&D miniature, there's some special settings that we need to do, and just click yes. If you found this design on Thingiverse, please include the thing number. Our filament cost is 10 cents per gram, which you'll be able to figure out once you find how much it weighs in the online slicer. Just in case it costs a little bit more, just put down your maximum, because sometimes a $4 print, if we made a couple changes, it might wind up costing $5 to print. If there's any particular notes you want to let us know about it, just put them in the notes section. Then all you need to do is choose your file. It's most likely in the downloads folder. Click the upload button, submit it, and wait for us to contact you when the print is done. If you have any questions at all about this online form, feel free to contact the MakerSpace or just make an appointment.
Now that you've learned how to submit a 3D file, you're ready to do it yourself. If you have any questions or trouble getting started, you can always book an appointment, come into the MakerSpace, and submit the file that way. We can also then walk you through the steps on how to get started. Thank you to Perth Community Futures for sponsoring this video, and I hope to see you in the MakerSpace with your own 3D creations real soon.